Good morning. Hi, I'm Deacon Dave Lipinski, and I'm joining you today to give a reflection. Rather than speaking about today's readings per se, I like to talk about the saint that we celebrate today. Every day of the year, there's a different saint mentioned, or sometimes several saints, and these are missionaries and martyrs, men and women, priests, deacons, religious, a whole host of different people throughout the year. But one group, a small group of them, are called doctors of the church. Doctors of the church. Only 36 people have that title given it to them. And so you understand, doctor doesn't mean anything about a medical point. It meant to be a doctor that they were a great teacher. And we celebrate one of these teachers today. It's feast day. Now, the person we're celebrating is unique even among these doctors. For one thing, she's a woman. Of the 36 doctors, 32 are men, and only 4 women have been given that title. Another thing that makes you unique even among the 4 women who have that title, she wasn't a member of a religious order. She was a lay woman. She didn't live in a convent, she lived with her family. So why did this woman make such an impression on the church for this past 600 years that she's called a doctor? Well, the saint we're celebrating is St. Catherine of Siena. She lived in the late 14th century, and she was born at a time the Black Death is occurring. The church is in turmoil because the Pope is actually in France rather than Rome. A lot is happening in the world, and she's brought into it, and she makes a difference. Not so much by writing big theological writings and such. She does it by the force of her life and the force she gave to call people to do the right thing. She's been considered one of the strong women of her time, and she only lived 33 years. And in that 33 years, she rose from basically lower middle class and not learning how to read to her teen years to a person that popes and princes look to for advice and to serve them. She did it by a force of sincerity. What you saw is what you got. And she lived her life around a strong faith. In fact, one of the quotes that she said was, "God will provide the way and the means in ways that you could never imagine." She looked at the problems she was facing the church and facing the people of the time, and through prayer and through her own personality, she brought people to a better understanding of the faith, to be strong in the faith, to be able to survive. It's words that we can understand in today's world with the situations we're dealing right now. Well, St. Catherine was also a very strong person in that she had no problem speaking truth to power. She would look at people, be it princes or popes, and say, do the right thing. Follow what the God is calling us to do. Look to the poor. Love always. What we have from her are hundreds of letters that she wrote from the simplest person who lived across the street from her to the popes and princes. And in that she has, throughout the entire time, faith in God. Faith in God in the toughest times. Faith in God in the hardest things she had to face. And though she only lived 33 years, and some people say she wore herself out for the faith, she lived each year to the fullest, which is God's calling us to be. One of her other quotes was, "Start being brave about everything." That's how she faced her life. That's how we're called to face our life, especially in times like now, where the crisis we face as both a church and as a nation is a difficult one. But St. Catherine had faith in God, and we are called to have that same faith. May God bless you and keep you all the days of your life.